I had been sick for almost 10 years. During that 1 year period, I also had 4 family members die. I honestly just wanted to not be in pain.
Cassidy Amber Chapman is an entrepreneur, content creator, and author focused on personal growth and well-being.
She went through many emotional and physical challenges as a child, but turned her struggles into strength. Recently, she also released a song to inspire others.
Now she helps people overcome tough times by sharing her story of hope and resilience.
I had physical pain so painful it felt like knives were ripping me open from the inside out. I started having panic attacks every single day because I was afraid of the physical pain that I was in. I woke up from a panic attack at 3 a.m. and I remember I not only healed my physical body, but I healed mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It was the most incredible journey of finding love for myself like I never was possible. And what I kept seeing through all of the studies was that the benefits were showing when you did it consistently for around 15 minutes a day.
What? Really?
And then the real I've always lived here, but of course this last year I've lived as a digital nomad and lived in 6 different countries. But normally I'm from Boston and my family's here and I have a lot of friends here, but that's where I'm from.
Very cool. So you have a lot to offer in terms of your really cool insights on synchronicity and self-help and self-love. So really looking forward to this conversation.
Me too. I love sharing these stories because I want someone to walk away from this conversation knowing that there are miracles and wonders and synchronicities that are possible that will just blow their minds away. It's not just my story. It's a story for everyone to remember what is possible.
I love the sound of that already. You already got me sold. And it's really cool because the entire theme of this podcast, as you probably know, is about inspiring transformative shifts and just showing the world what's possible by people who have actually undergone that stuff and that journey and just have a really cool message to share. So let's dive in yours. Like,
Let's
what is
do
your
it.
backstory? What was your health condition like before you began this journey of transformation?
So my journey of this of coming into this personal development and healing space was I had a health crisis. Well, I had health issues starting at a very young age. I think around 12 years ago. So I was around 14 at the time.
That's crazy. Were you going through stress at the time, or what was going on in your life that you had so much?
Well, I mean, now I know what the cause was.
Okay, we
uh
can get to
I
that.
We can
I
get to
just
that
interrupted your
after.
flow.
But at the time, I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on. So at the time, I was just confused. I was gaining over 50 pounds in under 3 months, eating less than 500 calories per day. I was getting dizzy and purple, and I was dry heaving every day. I don't know if you know what dry heaving is, but you try to throw up, but you can't. And I was dry heaving every day, nauseous, dizzy. I mean, I could go on with the symptoms.
Yeah, it
And
doesn't sound fun.
no,
One
it
bit.
was not. It was not. And I went to doctor after doctor and test after test, and they kept
I can
telling me
imagine.
that I was fine, that I was all right, that was all in my head, or they were blaming on the weight that I was gaining. And I said, I can't, it shouldn't be possible for me to gain this much weight. I'm not eating like anything. And they said, oh, like you're lying about how much you're eating. Like that's impossible. And I was like, I'm not lying. And I really felt defeated at this point. And after 2 years of going to every doctor you can think of getting symptoms getting worse and worse and worse, I finally found a doctor who would prescribe me medication that drastically helped the symptoms. I'm so grateful for this doctor and I'm so grateful for this medication. However, it was suppressing the symptoms. And
No
I
surprises
gratefully,
there.
yeah, that's surprising. And I gratefully suppressed those symptoms for 5 years. But after those 5 years, I went through a health crisis where all the symptoms came back and new and worsening ones. I had physical pain so painful, it felt like knives were ripping me open from the inside out.
Gosh.
That physical pain got so painful that I started having panic attacks every single day because I was afraid of the physical pain that I was in. And those panic attacks got so bad, they would wake me up in the middle of my sleep to have a panic attack.
Oh my God.
And I remember one particular night, I was, I woke up from a panic attack at 3 a.m. And I remember just screaming into a pillow because at the time I was living with my family and just in the dark room looking up at the ceiling and saying, I didn't even know who I was talking to. I said, God, please do not wake me up tomorrow.
Oof.
It didn't feel like a life worth living at all.
And how old were you at the time?
At this time, I was 21, 22, 21. Um, and not only was this health crisis going on, but a lot of other life crisis, what I like to call it. Not only was there a health crisis, there was also a life crisis. At the time, I had ended a 15-year friendship that had felt like a divorce. I mean, families fighting, taking things back. It really felt like a divorce because we were so codependent and intertwined in our lives for
A
so long.
girlfriend of yours?
It was, yeah, it was a friend of mine. And it was nothing romantic. It was just a friendship that was so intertwined in our lives that it felt like a divorce. And at the same time, I was broken up by who I thought was the love of my life at the time. You know, your first love you think is the love of your life. We've all been there. And during that 1 year period, I also had 4 family members die.
Whoa.
And this was an extremely dark moment for me. I felt like I was drowning in pain. And a couple things woke me up. One of them being one of my family members who died. He was 32 years old. And a couple days before he died, he texted me, Cassidy, I don't want to die. I want to live. I have so much
Was he
left to
sick?
experience. He got
Oh my
sepsis.
God.
And so he knew he was going to die. An infection that got so bad they became sepsis. And he said, I have so much left to experience. Like, I can't die. And a couple days later, he died. And so when he died, I felt this duty, not only to live for myself, but for him and for everybody else that doesn't have a chance to live. And so gratefully, I took a black notebook and I wrote down Cassidy's health plan or Cassidy's healing plan. I can't remember which one. But I remember that in that moment, I decided that I was going to get healthy and absolutely nothing was going to stop me. And mind you, I had been sick for almost 10 years. And so the mindset before was, I'll never get better. This is something I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. And that moment I said, no, no more. I will be healthy. I will be healthy and just nothing will be able to stop me. And that is the moment that I went on a journey I didn't even expect. I thought I was going to be healing my physical body, but I not only healed my physical body, but I healed mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It was the most incredible journey of finding love for myself like I never was possible. It was a journey of finding a breath like I never knew was possible. It was finding a quality of life I didn't know was possible for. It was like my wildest, not even my wildest dream. It was a dream. It was a life of beyond what I could imagine because in my head I would picture images instead of how things felt. It was a spiritual awakening, and people were like, whoa, 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 what is happening? You are completely one person that day who's going through tragedy and who's a victim and all these things. What happened? Because I don't understand what happened. And I would tell them it's not one tool, it's not one healing modality, it was not one thing. It was every single decision I made towards my health. And I created the 12 vibrancy codes, which then became my book, the vibrancy codes, because
The vibrancy
the
code.
vibrancy
Yeah.
codes,
Yeah.
which ended up being number one new release in holistic medicine and energy healing on Amazon. And it was crazy because it was all through word of mouth that it really happened. And it was just the message of the book people could feel. Like, it's not about not being sick. It's not about avoiding pain and illness. It's not about being mid happy. It's about having vibrancy. It's about embodying vibrant health in every single area of your life. And then it creates a foundation for magic, miracles, and synchronicities to happen, which I didn't expect at all, and was which ended up unfolding in a whole other story. But that is how it all started, was the crash and burn of my life, which then created this foundation of health and well-being and faith that created miracles, signs, and wonder that have just absolutely had my jaw drop this entire time I've been on this journey this past couple years.
Jesus, more power to you, girl. You obviously took a total 180 from the girl you were, and wow, that's crazy. So, from the day that you made a commitment to get better and just healthier, what did your next day look like? Like, what exactly did you do to transform your health
That's
entirely?
what that's why I had to write an entire book. Everyone asked that. And I said it was not one thing that I did. It was every single decision I made in that moment. It was I had researched and I had studied neuroscience in undergrad. And what I read in the research is because I was like, meditation doesn't work for me. I have tried it a couple times and I tried.
Mhm.
I was like, people kept telling me to meditate, and I was like, I don't really know how I feel about this. Yeah, sure. Sometimes I feel relaxed, but how is this really going to help me? When I would read the research, because my first instinct was to read research, because that's what I was pre-medical. I really had the mindset of the medical industrial complex. And so I was reading the research around the neuroplasticity uh, of meditation. And what I kept seeing through all of the studies was that the benefits were showing when you did it consistently for around 15 minutes a day for 3-4 months, and then the real biological shifts and mind and rewiring of the brain began to change and radically changed. And so
15
yeah,
minutes? One
yeah,
five?
15.
Okay.
And I so I would implement things like that. I would implement listening to my body around what it wanted to eat, and knowing that there was wisdom within my body, connecting with my body and asking what it wanted, what it needed. Because pain was an indicator, it was a message. It was not my body being against me, it was my body being for me. And so when I was able to switch this and really turn it around into listening to my body, to seeing, how to create these neurological rewiring processes that take time, right? I started implementing them every single day, every single one, which is why I have incredible huge amount of habits that are now integrated into my being because of that decision. So it was not one thing that I did, but it was the cascade of new habits, of listening to my body's wisdom, of being able to hear my intuition, of doing fasts, of really integrating health in every single decision that I made, which then created, surprising to me, I honestly just wanted to not be in pain. That was my main goal. I don't want to be in pain anymore. And I didn't realize by doing all these things it was going to th- create realities of where my mouth gets dropped because something extraordinary happens. So it's the basis, this health basis, this habits, this integration with the natural rhythm of yourself, really creating a mixture of modalities that ignites your innate healing abilities, and honestly it ignites your innate intuitive abilities. The reason that your some people I think get sick is so that they can finally listen to their intuition and then be able to follow that, which I am very grateful for all the pain that I experienced. I'm very grateful for the years of my body screaming at me, because now I actually get to live a life of magic because of that pain, because it was saying listen, 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 listen. And if there's any pain that's really going on, either physical or mental or emotional, it is saying listen.
Yeah. So, how long did this whole journey take you of complete recovery?
Well, see, that's interesting. We say complete recovery because one day I think I just realized, wait, I'm not in pain. Because I was so focused on just feeling myself and really focusing on the good, that one day I just was like, wait, am I not in pain anymore? Like, when was the last time I experienced a symptom? Like, it was more of a, wait a second. So I can't tell the exact, but I think maybe 6 months, I would say it was.
That's not bad for someone who experienced pain for as long as 6, 7 years from an early age. Like 6 months is pretty decent.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, that's why people were so shocked. But to me, those 6 months felt like a couple of years because of the amount of healing and focus that I was putting um, into it all.
Right. So I think it's worth diving into some of these techniques. Like, what are the vibrancy codes all
Yeah,
about from your
yeah.
book?
So the vibrancy codes, the first one is diet. So the 3 Ds, we go into the embodying physical vibrant health. And so diet is not about the fad diets you hear about. It's about listening to your body. Your body tells you what it wants and what it doesn't want. You got to stop looking at what other people are doing and start listening. Now, sometimes listening may be difficult if you have an addiction to sugar. Sugar is just very addictive.
Yeah. So, what did you give up? What did you
Yeah.
incorporate?
So for me, this is personally what my body told me, right? So everybody is different. But I stopped eating
Sure.
sugar. I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped smoking weed. I stopped drinking coffee. Although I'll have a cup very few and
Mm.
far between. I'll still allow myself a cup of here and there. But I was addicted to coffee, so that was a completely like six cups a day kind of thing. Um, and well, that was when I was living in Italy, but that's a whole other story. And I really just focused on nourishing my body, loving my body, seeing my body as a temple. And then that mindset shift, I was like, wow, I want to nourish you. I want to love you. I want to have the first meal of the day be vegetables and fruits. Um, and I really just cut out a lot of processed stuff because sugars and a lot of processed things. And
Very hard to do in the US, I'm guessing. If you had the time.
yeah,
Were you in Italy or in US at the time?
I
Where
was
were
in the
you?
US. Yes. Yeah.
Ah, okay, there you go. Yeah.
So not only was everything else happening, the world was falling apart at the same time. So this was also COVID.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was those major changes. Then the second D is detox, utilizing detoxes such as saunas, foot detox baths. Um, there's so many different intermittent fasting, water fasts,
Mm.
the different types of ways to allow your body to cleanse, and also lowering your toxic load by really being careful with the soaps that you use. So the detox is really important. Then diet, detox, and dance, moving your body with joy. It's really important that when you are moving your body, you find ways that are joyful for you to do it, and it makes you want to do it even more.
Mm.
And so then after that is the 3 M's for vibrant mental health. The first,
D is for? What's D for?
no, there's three.
Diet?
There's three. That was three.
Yeah, so D, what's the D? M is mental.
Yeah, so there was three. Now 3 M's. So there was 3 D's. Then there's 3 M's.
Okay.
There's 12 codes. The 3 M's were mind master, really rewiring your brain to believe the things that are empowering. Mind diet, what are the things that you consuming that is not just food, it's information, it's your
Mm.
environments, it's your relationship. What are you consuming, and what is the environment you're really placing yourself in? And then mindfulness, how to utilize meditation and mindfulness and how to be intentional
Sure.
and conscious in the decisions that you make in your life. And then the 3 E's, which are the embodying emotional vibrant health, are learning to embrace all of your feelings. Emote, which is really utilizing the emotions and then learning what they're meant to be there for. So, say anger, right? Anger usually is an indicator that someone's crossed your boundary. And so it's a message from your body, this emotion, for you to then make that boundary clear.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're feeling jealous and you start to see or envious of something that someone else has, yet it's like, no, this is something that I want to create in my life. And so then you go to create it in your life, right? And the last E is evolve, using evolutionary practices to transform yourself, such as self love, gratitude, forgiveness. There's something about all those pieces that really evolve you when you have this emotional intelligence. Your body keeps the score.
That's my
And then
space. EQ. Yeah.
yeah, it's when you're there's trauma that gets trapped in your body, which can make you very, very sick. And so that was another piece. Not saying that that was the whole piece, because it wasn't. Each of these pieces were so important. And then the three S's for spiritual embodiment of vibrant health, which is safety, having unshakable faith in yourself, in your life, and in your higher power. When you have that safety, when you have that groundedness, nothing can knock you
Mm.
over. Surrender, the second S, letting go of control to gain control. And the last S, which was serenity, using energy work, really being connected to your energy body, to be able to clear your energetic system, not just your physical, your mental and emotional, but that energetic level. And so utilizing all of these codes, you can see that this is not just one thing. This is an entire compilation of what it means to be vibrantly healthy. And so it takes time, it takes focus, and takes energy, but the benefits, the the results that come from it are extraordinary. And so that's why, I share these, because maybe it's not that one easy step that you can do, right? Even though if someone says, what's that one easy step, I say, listen to your body, because that will cascade into all these other ones. It will show you where to go. However,
Damn,
it's
who taught you this? Who taught you this stuff, girl?
well, my body.
No, how did you
You
actually? Who? There was no guide, no coach. Like, how did you get such a comprehensive
So
analysis of?
I had many mentors at the same time. So one of the things that I did was I changed my view of how I view doctors and therapists and coaches. It was, they're not meant to save me. I'm meant to save me and use them as tools in my toolbox. Now, I truly believe in coaching. I truly believe in therapy, and I truly believe that you need to be able to have the ability to go get yourself the tests that you need at the doctor's office and all the things, right? You have to be your savior. And you have to be the
Oh,
one that says, I'm going to conduct this healing journey. And in that doesn't mean that you do it alone. Not happening. I became part of, so I could say countless amount of communities that I joined, courses, and I went as if I was going full time to healing school, getting a master's in how to heal my body. And I went to, like, I had so many coaches. There was a point where I had 7 different people in every area of my life coaching me on different things. Support is incredible. It's how your mindset of how you use it, though. I am the director. They are my supports. I hire them to support me in my journey. And even in my business now, I have accountability partners at all points, a daily accountability partner, a weekly accountability partner. There's something about being witnessed by another human being, having a reflection of another human being. And yes, I have many coaches still to this day. Why? Because I know that I'm worthy of support. And I also know that I'm the director of my healing journey. They're not my saviors. They're my support system. They're my pillars that I place down because I chose it. So it wasn't just one person, it was multiple people, it was multiple courses, but it was me who was the director of this multitude of healing that I kind of brought together into this one healing journey, if that makes sense.
that makes absolutely perfect sense. That's beautiful. Honestly, the way you like brought the whole thing together in different pieces into one, that's just insane. Wow.
Yeah.
And did you ever discover or get to diagnosing what was your condition in the first place when you were younger? Like, what was going on
So
then?
so what was happening was there was a lot of microbiome and autoimmune dysfunction, which are, first of all, just really hard to diagnose in the first place. Second of all, when I was younger, I was born with a bowed left tibia. My toes had touched my ankle, like where all
Wow.
I had a bone deformation. So bowed left tibia means that there's a bow. It looks like a bow and arrow is your leg. The tibia is shaped like a bow. And so that leg ended up being shorter significantly than my other leg. And when I was 10 years old, I had to have that. Um, I had to have a leg lengthening surgery. And that leg lengthening surgery was pretty intense. And I had to have rods and needles and a machine on my leg for an entire year. So I had open wounds for an entire year, which meant that I had to be on antibiotics for an entire year.
That's it. And that kills your good bacteria,
wiped
antibiotics.
out
Yeah.
my gut bacteria, and so caused so many issues. And no one really warned me about the issues that that could cause, or how significant that was. But once I was able to, some of those things are really about healing your gut, right? Adding the good bacteria back into your system,
Yeah.
taking out sugar, all of those things. But that was the real one. We looked back, and now knowing what I know now, all the holistic health kind of ideology, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, no wonder I was so sick and for so many years, because even just taking antibiotics once can wipe out good bacteria, and you need to recover for years. So imagine an entire year of being on antibiotics.
But so worth it in terms of just spending all that time to, do your real health plan and get back to where you were meant to be anyway in the first place. You weren't meant to be sick. Or maybe you were because you were in the whole journey anyway. So,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So I truly am grateful, because it honestly, I cry so many times in gratitude, because I just for health. Some people have no idea the the blessing that it
Yeah.
is to just be healthy. And I sometimes just fall to my knees crying, because I'm just so grateful for the health that I have. Because when you know the immense pain, the unbearable pain that happens when you're in pain and sick,
Yeah.
then you just the gratitude is overwhelming in a good way.
I mean, that's what they say. Health is everything. Literally
Health is
everything.
everything. You can't do anything without your health.
So, did doing all of this somehow unlock your intuition as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's
That
hear
is
about that. Now, let's get into the good stuff like synchronicity and manifestation
Now
and
let's get into the
intuition.
magic, the miracles, and the synchronicities.
Miracle work, yes.
So, it I think, how in almost every religion they talk about how fasting is really important to be able to connect deeper to your higher power, to God, whatever you want to call it. But fasting is one of those things that happens. Now I do think sugar is a big contributor to not being able to hear your intuition. There's something about it. I don't know what it is, but from myself and my clients, every time there's a sugar fast, somehow you can be able to hear your intuition more.
What? Really?
Yes. I've stopped eating sugar for the last 4 years, and I don't see myself going back. So I don't I when I say sugar, I mean refined sugar. I still, I'll have fruit and all that
I
good
wonder
stuff.
what the link is with sugar and your intuition. Like, I mean,
It's more
sure,
like
gut
it's a
well,
drug.
gut.
More like it's a drug. It acts in your brain like it's a drug. So
Oh,
if you are on drugs, or your body's, having that,
mm.
it's actually more addictive than heroin. You're numbed out.
Wow. Okay, that does kind of make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
So that was one of the things that really I started having prophetic dreams. I mean, it was just the craziest thing that started to happen when I was really healing my body. And when I was listening to my body, where do you want me to go? I would find myself, being pulled to a corner of the house where a book I needed to read was, with the exact message that I had. And I was like, wait, what? What is going on here? And I started freaking out, because like it just started to happen naturally. And my intuition just started to get more amplified and more amplified and more amplified and more amplified, that I will tell you now the music story, just because that one is the one where I still get dropped when I am like, wait, what? How did that happen? So as you know, I had released music, but the way that that has happened is unbelievable. So 2 years into really healing my body and my intuition turning on, it was as if I was just being led. I mean, everything that I did, I would just ask my body, my intuition, and it would tell me a clear yes or no. And people were like, oh, I can never get there. That's not, you cultivate it. I never was like this. I could, if you told me a couple years ago, I actually probably thought I was intuitively led, but I really was not. There was like, oh yeah, sometimes I have a gut feeling and I can feel it, and on a vibe when someone comes around. But something was so significantly different after I healed my body. So I was able to hear my intuition at a higher level. And after about 2 years in this journey of health and well-being, I would wake up every day again with just that tears of gratitude. I am healthy. Because when I used to wake up, I used to be like, oh, I woke up and I would be in extreme pain. So when I very much the first couple of years of the journey, I said, oh my God, when I would wake up, I would just be in tears of gratitude. Like, thank you, God, for waking me up with this new day. Now, on this journey, what?
I'm saying nice.
Oh, yeah. So, in this journey, one day, I wake up every day super excited. One day, I woke up with a super heavy feeling. And I said, like, well, I don't know what's going on. It really felt as if my blanket was steel, as if there was sandbags in my body. That's how heavy I felt. And so I was like, maybe I just need to rest. And so I just turned Netflix on and I just started watching. But my body started to scream at me more. It was more and more and more heavy. And I was like, like this is not a pain. It's not painful. It's just heaviness. And I was confused. So I said, maybe I'm hangry. Maybe I'm really hungry and I need to go
Just
eat.
need a dose of some food. Yeah.
Yeah, ladies, no. Sometimes we get hangry. And I was wondering, maybe I just need to eat. And so I ended up going to the grocery store. It took all of my strength to go to the grocery store, so much so that I sat in my car for an hour and crying like I couldn't move after I
When
had
did
just.
this happen? Like how many years ago?
So this was in 2022,
Oh, so 2 years ago, not so long.
years.
Recent. Okay.
Yeah.
This was after your whole healing
This
journey.
was after the healing journey. So that's why I was so confused because at this point I'm already healthy. At this point I'm already really having
Yeah.
emotional regulation that is just extraordinary. And I'm having to be able to hear my intuition so loudly. So I was like, what is going on? I was starting to get really scared. And so I go inside to eat the food and it doesn't help at all. And I just sit there for another hour seeing like, am I going to feel better now? Is it going to kick in? And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm over here trying to comfort myself. I'm rubbing on my body to try to give some comfort, but it wasn't working. And so I started to do mirror work. Do you know what mirror work is?
Mirror work, I've
Yeah.
heard about it from your conversations, but for our listeners, go ahead and enlighten them.
Yeah. So mirror work is when you use the mirror to really create a deeper connection with yourself, to utilize the mirror to help you see yourself, reflect back to yourself, and be able to create a deeper connection to you. And so in that mirror work, I started to do a Lisa Nichols version, which was, I'm proud of you for, I forgive you for, I commit to you. And I just sat down and I said, Cassidy, I'm here for you. I love you. And I started to say affirmations. And these affirmations, they felt like they were just coming out of me. I am brave. I am bold. I am who I'm meant to be. I'm brave. I am bold. I am who I'm meant to be. And then all of a sudden it was, I am brave. I am bold. I am who I'm meant to be. Nothing can stop me. And then an entire song came through.
That's wild. Wow.
And then the intuitive hit came. It was the clearest message I've ever received. You will release this song in 1 year.
Yeah, start singing. That was your sign or your message.
The entire song came through. It was a download
How
for
did it
sure.
happen? That's insane.
It was, I mean, there was a lot of mini downloads within my book. Like I would write like crazy, like things that were just didn't even feel like me, how it just comes through. But this song, it was just wild. It was like I was writing it down. And it was like I had to write it down, or otherwise, because I wasn't creating it, it was just like coming out of me. I was just writing it down, and singing it, and recording it, and all the things. And I remember arguing with that intuitive hit, that intuitive message. Call it God. I'm just gonna call it God right now. You can call it whatever. I was like, no, I will not do this. I don't sing in front of people. Who am I to write a song out of nowhere and then release it? I have no idea how to release a song. What are you talking about? I don't know I'm doing all these things over here. I don't need to be doing this. And I could feel the message so clearly. You will release this song in 1 year. And so I wrote down the date. I was like, whatever. I said I was going to be an intuitively led person. I have no idea how this is going to happen. Whatever. And then the next intuitive hit came. You will, I still can't believe this. You will perform this at the next open mic night next week. I said, oh no. So I still listened. I still listened to the intuition because my intuition has always led me to good places. So I perform at this open mic a cappella. And I tell them the story and I say, I have no idea how this is going to get composed, but here it is. People are crying.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm like, what is
That's
going on?
insane.
And
Wow.
before I could even get off stage, someone yelled out, I want to help you compose the music.
That's insane. Wild.
What? And the craziest part is that that was just the beginning of the synchronicities, the signs, and the magic that happened around music.
Wow.
And
S- So you basically became Wonder Woman in a way, right? Like from Cassidy 2.0 to Wonder Woman. Very cool. So that took you to a whole new journey of discovering yourself and using your voice and your power, I guess. Wow.
but it wasn't even using my power. It was just the way was just opening. I
Yeah.
didn't really do anything. It was as if everything and everyone came to me. I mean, I ended up people just started coming, like I became best friends with a girl that it ended up being, while I was in this music process. And when I ended up asking her, hey, like, I've been working on this music. I have a question because I see that you have released a song. I would love to ask you a question. She goes, yeah, of course. Then I tell her, I've been working with this guy for 7 weeks and we haven't composed the music. Like, can you help? And like letting me know if this takes this long. And she said, Cassidy, you should take under an hour to compose a song. So maybe he just doesn't know what he's doing yet. And she goes, I'd love to help you. I said, oh, wow. Like, thank you. And she said, yeah, let's meet at my school. I said, oh, where do you go to school? She goes, I go to the Berkeley School of Music
Oh, wow.
and I'm a songwriting major.
There you go. Gift from the universe.
What? We had met during this process, became best friends. We didn't even talk about music until that moment. And
That's insane.
then I had no idea how it was going to get produced. And then we were sitting there, and she and I had just finished a songwriting session. A guy comes up to us, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's you! It's so nice to see you!" And he he and I looked at each other in each other's eyes, and we go, "Oh my God, it's you!" A couple months prior, me and this guy had met dancing. We had this magical dance. I'm a bachata dancer.
Love
And you
it.
you change partners every song, so you meet a lot of people in one night. But we met this one night and we had this, he doesn't really know how to dance bachata. But we had this magical inner child like dance where we didn't care what anybody thought. We were just doing all these crazy little moves. And we never exchanged names and we never exchanged numbers and we never saw each other again until that moment.
Wow.
We sat down. We were talking until 3 a.m. It was like Soul Tribe was ignited. And then the next day, my friend called me. She goes, I have a surprise. I said, what? She said, I told him about your song. I said, okay, like, all right, whatever. Like I'm kind of nervous about it because I feel so in so much shift, so much pressure of
Overwhelmed? Yeah.
feeling I didn't feel good enough. And he ended up she said, no, Cassie, that's not the surprise. She goes, he's a producer and he wants to help you produce the music.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Did you not have any encounters in terms of intuition or anything? Like no encounters at all?
I don't remember having that. That's why when people say like it's innate in you.
Yeah, like you're gifted or it's only for some people, not for everyone. You don't believe in that. You think anyone can.
I think anyone can, but maybe that's just because of my experience. But I
Yeah.
really believe anyone can. But it does take dedication. It
Of
takes
course.
practice. It takes an awakening.
W-
Um,
From all that you've undergone and done for yourself, like what would you say are the top few things that have really helped you to access it? One is, of course, meditation, you said.
yes, um, consistent. Um, so consistent meditation, I would say connecting with your dreams. Your dreams really have messages. And people are like, "Oh, my dreams make no sense." Once you start asking, "What does this message trying to tell me?" and you write it down, you'll start seeing the messages. The messages will start coming through and it will be wild and crazy. Um, and I've really connected with my dream world. And in the dream world, I believe that's where we have connection to our really highly to our intuition. And which there was another crazy part that happened with the dream itself. There was a dream that I had that blew my mind.
So
But
decoding your dreams, you mean?
decoding your dreams is so important. And if you feel like, oh, I don't remember my dreams, just start writing down as soon as you wake up in the morning. I had a dream about, watch out. 3 weeks go by, you're going to start remembering your dreams because you're writing them down, because you say, I remember a shoe. Like if you just, I remember the feeling of feeling anxious. That's all. You just kind of continue that. You will
Yeah.
create the practice to be able to really connect to your dream world. So the dream world, connecting to your body is so, so, so important. Fasting, so, so, so important, for being able to really hear your intuition. Eating clean. Everyone talks about, oh, I wish I had intuition. Like, if you saw what I eat, you would know why. Like if you eat really clean, or if you do a fast, or you do something where you're really not eating processed food, then you're going to have a clear channel for things to come through. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people can hear their intuition. I've talked to a lot of people, I've interviewed a lot of people around this. Most people can hear their intuition, but they're terrified of taking the step of
Hmm. I
doing what their
wonder
intuition.
why. Yeah.
Well, because it's in the unknown, and we're terrified of the unknown. We feel comfort in where we are, familiar zone.
Yeah. Speaking of which, one of your quotes on your site is it's like beautiful. It says, boldness is not the absence of fear, but the determination to act despite it. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why the message in the song has been so important for me to share, because when you really do know your intuition, but it's about taking the brave, bold steps. It's about taking a leap of faith. And the
Mm.
more that you take a leap of faith, the more you actually listen to your intuition, the louder it gets. It's as if there is this channel that's being dropped into you. And every time a message comes to you, it's like, why even try? You're not
Hmm.
listening. Why would I give you more messages if you're not even listening to the ones that I'm sending you? Sometimes, of course, there's messages that need to be so loud that they become painful. Like there's intuitive, there's the whisper and then there's the
Yeah.
scream, right?
Persistence. Yeah. The constant message. But how do you, my question was, how do you cultivate faith in the face of fear? What have you learned about that?
Everything is for you. I
Okay.
mean, the trials, the tribulations, I look back at the pain and I see why all that pain happened. A lot of people want to blame the pain that they've experienced or feel afraid of it. But when
Yeah.
you feel the gratitude for the pain that you've experienced, when you know so deeply that that was meant to happen, and you see why, the lessons, you see the blessings that it gave you, the blessings that the pain gave you, then you'll start to create unshakable faith, because before, yeah, I've been through pain and it came out better throughout the other side anyways. So I'm not going to be afraid if I'm going to fail. I'm not going to be afraid if pain is going to happen. I'm not going to be afraid to try to avoid these things, because it's made me better anyways.
So you act despite your fear, you show up despite your fear, and you practice faith despite the fear you're feeling.
Yes.
That's not easy, man. That's bloody hard to do.
That's why I created the song. It's as if it's a neurological rewiring. It's a anthem.
Yeah,
to
it'll become
sing.
my anthem for sure because I love it. It's so nice. I love it. Like I heard it before this podcast as well, by the way. It's so nice.
Oh,
I'm gonna add
thank
the link in the bio. Yeah, it's
yeah.
so good.
Well, the reason that since that song that was I wrote 2 years ago, now it's finally out. Um, I I've used it every single time I'm about to do something really scary. When
Love it.
I left on my one-way ticket to Colombia while after selling everything that I owned and not knowing when I was going to come back or where I was going to go next. When I published my book because I had written it just before I published my book. When I, got into a new relationship, like whatever it was, I would sing the song when I would get up on stage as a keynote speaker, or um, when I would just try something new, when I would share something new, I would sing the song before. And for me, there's something neurologically, right? As I learned a lot of neuroscience, that if you continue to utilize something as a reminder of who you truly are, as a reminder of your bravery, as a reminder of your courage, as a reminder of your faith, as a reminder that nothing can stop you, then when you sing that song, it will bring you into that state
Power
of
zone. Yeah.
power zone. And so that's why this song is so important to use as that the thing that you put on. I'm about to do something really brave. I'm about to do something really bold. I'm about to do something really courageous and I'm terrified. And then you put that song on and you just do it anyways. So there's
Wow.
something that's so powerful about music, and which is why this song has been so important to share as this anthem, as this neurological rewiring, as this mantra to really utilize before
Propel you
that
forwards. Yeah.
propel you forward in faith.
What's the scariest thing you've ever done for yourself that you've still done despite the fear you're feeling? What's the song that you sang on what's that? Speakeasy or whatever you said? Open mic?
I don't think that was the scariest thing I've ever done. Um, I think the scariest thing I ever done was believing that I could be healthy
And doing it.
and doing it.
Because you were so because it's very interesting because the mind works based on evidence it sees every
Yeah.
single day. And when you have evidence for 6, 7 years to beat that is no joke.
No.
So what do you think drove you? Was just like the determination, or how did you like what would you say that made you beat the evidence or want to beat the evidence?
Um, well, I had a dream. um, and in this dream, um, the messages that came from it were extreme. Um, that I was in the place in my life where I wanted to die. And so somehow I pictured myself in this really cold, dark winter space. And I was walking on a huge sheet of ice. And as I was walking, the ice cracked beneath me and I plunged into the water. And I accelerated deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper
Mm.
and deeper and deeper into the water until I was miles away from the surface. And I looked
That's
back
scary in a
up.
dream as well. Wow.
Oh, it felt so vivid. I felt the actual
This was a
ice
dream or a
cold.
vision you had?
This was a dream.
Wow. At night while sleeping.
Yes, while
Okay.
sleeping.
Yeah.
And I remember looking up and was like, all right, this is actually the perfect opportunity to die. I thought it was real. In the dream, I really thought I was there. And so I said, this is a perfect opportunity to die. And I just sat there floating. And then I looked back up and I saw a small glimmer of light where I had fallen. And so I started to have this will to live wash over me. And so I started to swim. And as I was swimming, it was getting harder and harder to swim. It was as if I was swimming through water and then jello, then concrete. It took all of my strength to get to the top. And when I finally did, I was so excited. The sun was coming up. But I still felt this shiver come up my spine because I was still alone, stuck on ice. And I looked off to the side And somehow I saw two men in a boat, but the boat was half sunken into the water. And somehow they got to me and they asked me, "Do you need help?" I said, "Yes, clearly, I need help." But in the back of my mind, I was wondering, how can they help me if they're drowning themselves? And so when I woke up, I had three very significant messages come to me. One being that I still had the will to live. I still wanted to live. Because at that point, I didn't want to live.
Sure.
The second was that it was going to take all of my strength to get out of the darkness that I was in. It was going to take everything I had, and there was going to be more and more resistance as I got closer to the surface. And the third was that I was asking help from people who are struggling in their lives themselves, asking them to be my savior.
I wonder in real life if there were a sign for the doctors in your life who were giving you advice that won't get you anywhere or wasn't getting you anywhere. Maybe that was a metaphor for the guys on the boat in the dream. Wow, that's crazy. Honestly, what a powerful dream.
And you know what's crazy is I was working with a practitioner and she said, "You should start listening to your dreams. What are your dreams like?" And I just started writing them down.
Hmm.
That's when that message came.
Wow, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So now you work with people. How do you help them? Like, in what capacity do you help them to transform?
Yeah. So I have immersive experiences. So I do coaching one on one and group, and also speaking engagements where I help people really learn to love their lives and build lives they love through these immersive experiences, through neurological rewiring, through somatic healing and practices. But the reality is for you to be able to take brave, bold action to create the life that you love. And it's been quite extraordinary helping people in this way. Again, I didn't even mean to start the coaching business. I thought I was just going to write a book, but people ended up starting coming to me asking me if I could help them. And when I did, referrals exploded because people had such good experiences that
Wow.
someone was telling a friend that was telling a friend, like, "Cassidy, help me with this. Cassidy, help me with this. Cassidy, help me with this. Like, you got to see this girl." And so really helping people learn to love their lives and build lives they love is an honor. It's not something I meant to do, but it was something that was meant to be. And um, not only do I do the coaching now as well, but I do immersive experiences for um, these music kind of experiences of sharing.
Beautiful. These are like
Uh,
offline, I mean, physical retreats.
So not I haven't done a retreat yet. I've been more invited to retreats. So if someone has a retreat and they're thinking, how can I up level this? They think of me. But I have a group program that's absolutely extraordinary. That's online, and it's from people all around the world learning to be the most brave, bold community they can be. And we meet every day for 15 minutes a day, Monday through Thursday, and I've had this program for 3 years, and some people are still from the beginning because they
Wow.
have found so much value. Imagine in this economy right now of attention being, the greatest commodity, someone showing up for 15 minutes a day, Monday through Thursday for 3 years. You can see that there's a lot of value in becoming this immersive experience. Program that allows you to be your most brave, bold self, to cultivate faith, to cultivate that courage, to cultivate the person you were born to be. And it's quite extraordinary. I'm deeply grateful for the work that I'm blessed and honored to do.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing all your amazing stories and just offering hope to the world in terms of just what is truly possible, no matter how, where you are on your journey or how late you think it is in life. It never is too late. That's, I think, my
Mm,
underlying message here from you.
yeah. Yeah.
And where can people learn more about you, Cassidy, and just explore your world?
Yes. So Cassidy Amber Chapman for everything. It's Instagram. I'm on a lot of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I do a lot of storytelling on YouTube. I do a lot of offers on Instagram, like exclusive offers on Instagram. So you're probably going to want to check it out over there. And you can find me on CassidyAmberChapman.com as well.
Amazing. And before I let you go, how would you describe an epic being? This is like one of the best questions for you here because you've done the work. So,
I would say take the leap.
mm,
And
someone who takes the leap, you mean? That's an epic being for you.
someone who takes the
Yeah.
leap and someone who's brave, someone who's bold, and someone who's exactly who they're meant to be.
And in your program, just backtracking a bit, do you actually help people discover who they're meant to be?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of well-being kind of basis that we start with, and then we really dive into creating who are you meant to be and taking the brave bold action to do that. A lot of people know. Once
Mhm.
they're like, I don't know, we have one session, they're like, I know exactly what I want, but I'm terrified to admit it.
Yeah.
And and then we really get to the place where they get to have the courage, the brave, the faith to be able to take the steps to be able to do that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
More power to you, girl, and just keep doing the amazing work that you're doing and making the incredible shifts in people's lives and health, I guess. So, yeah, on to more great stuff.
On to more. On to more. And check out the song, Who I Am.
100%.